What's up, everybody? This is NBA at the Bar. We're your host. I'm TA.
And it's G Monday.
And we are ready to get it cracking and talk about that NBA action because it is absolutely fantastic. And before we even get started, y'all know the drill. Y'all know what we got to do. What I need y'all to do is to sit over here and like, download, and subscribe. Pretty please. Make that happen for us.
With cherries on top.
Download and subscribe with cherries on top. And hey, with that being said, because I just want to jump into this week because it's like All-Star Week. We at we're just past the midway point of the year, so it's like we ain't got to play no more. We've all been together, the vast majority of us, for the majority of the season. So let's just jump right on in this. G Money, what you drinking on?
I am on the Shildag, bro. Just like I have been for, I don't know, 4 score in a couple of weeks now.
Hey, this is a bona fide, genuine, certified drinker. So if he's drinking that Shildag, I can strongly encourage all of y'all to do the same thing. Y'all should be sponsoring this man.
Yeah, man.
And me, I'm drinking the Day. I went back to the Day because it feels so good. That French, got to find it though. That French, unbelievable cognac. But super fired up because, this is a fun week. You know what I'm
go ahead and ching my glass then,
without a doubt.
Ding and ding and ding.
And let's get it popping. This is a fun week because it leads into to All-Star Week, and it's kind of like when you lead into spring break. It's like you're so excited because you're about to have some fun. You're about to go down to Mexico and get loose and do some things you shouldn't be doing.
Oh yeah, we going jet ski, baby.
Do a little bit of tricking, do a little bit of drinking. You can act a little bit bad.
We at the pool,
you're right?
Yeah,
and so that's what this week is. So obviously not a lot of heavy stuff in the NBA. We've gone through the trade deadline and so on and so forth. But one thing that we just recently found out. That is like an offspring from the trade deadline is this proverbial trade that was in the works, that was possibly in the works, that LeBron and the Lakers denied, but the owners were talking about.
Yeah. It's fodder right now.
It's unequivocally fodder, but could you imagine what the deal would be with LeBron and Steph Curry sitting over here and a trade taking place and then being on the same team? I think that would instantaneously take the Golden State Warriors, because that's how the trade was supposed to go down, the Golden State Warriors into title contention. But what are some of your thoughts on that?
I agree. I actually do think that it would, but it's like you would have to essentially gut everybody other than Draymond and Steph. Because I even think Clay would be.
No, Clay was part of that. Wiseman, everybody they wanted to get rid of, plus some draft compensation.
Yes, and so, but then it's like, oh, okay, well then they'd have to hire you and me to be in there to be like, let us get rebounds and pass. But
I don't quite think it would be that. I just think they would get rid of some people they don't want to get rid of. Kuminga's already sit over and infused himself as the number 2 on that team, so they would get rid of some low hanging fruit, maybe even some Chris Paul.
Yeah, but it would. But to your point, right? It would also be like meaningful positions. So the Lakers, for to even entertain such a suggestion, would essentially gut them of any of the talent that they presently have, and that makes it unrealistic. One,
you mean Golden State?
Golden State's talent, because it would be, we would have to even entertain such a thing. Then it would also have to be, which would make it even more of a Herculean effort, is that the Lakers would have to then discern the players that they have on their team and then disperse them. So the amount of movement that would have taken place to even make that deal possible would have been a little bit too much to bear at a trade deadline. But even, let's say, separate and apart from that, because what we're really saying is that we know that if you take a big man who has Magic Johnson-like skills, which is what LeBron James is, and you couple him with the best shooter that has arguably ever existed in Steph Curry, that the scare that would have put into the league was intriguing, so much so that the owner of the Golden State Warriors said, "Well, let me at least see." I understand it.
And also the GM for Philadelphia. So they say where smoke it's fire, and these individuals weren't looking for a trade if there was absolutely nothing there. And I think that just good GMs sit over and call on anybody. So I don't really think there was any smoke there. But I think the reason why the trade didn't go down is there was no way LeBron, being the greatest individual to ever touch a basketball, the GOAT, he haw, would sit over would sit over here and go to Golden State. He would have loved that trade if Steph
was coming to the Lakers. Yes.
And I think, understand Steph's position that this is my team and, I'm somewhat on the same level of LeBron. But if you want to have that greatness come about, I think you would want to have it in a Laker uniform rather than a Golden State uniform.
It would be sexy.
The monetization of it would be much sexier in a Laker. So I think that inevitably was the reason why the trade didn't go down. Obviously, Golden State wasn't willing to give up Steph. That's why they were the initiator of that trade. But I think LeBron wouldn't even consider it if it was talking about him going and doing a pseudo Durant move.
I agree.
And going to link up with him.
I agree.
But I think the idea, the concept of it is phenomenal.
Yeah, and you know what it's almost it feels like filler, because why even mention it at all? Because the truth of the matter is everything you said, everything that I said the 2 minutes before is the reason why it's too complicated to do. But then it's like you're mentioning it just because you just want everybody to know, hey, we were trying to bring these two mega stars together.
Well, it's a story, and it's obviously the first thing that we're talking about. So it is a big deal. I just don't think that it was realistic. But what I'm hearing is that if LeBron would have said, "Yeah, I want to get up out of here," the Lakers would have made it happen. That's why I don't quite think it would have been as convoluted as one might think, as you're describing. I think that it could have gone down without a significant amount of in-depth negotiation to make it happen. Just out of respect for LeBron, because the reality is in the past, 10, 15 years, at least 10 years, the only championship that the Lakers have is the one that LeBron brought to the team.
Yes.
And I think Jeannie also understands that they haven't done the best in terms of their stewardship of leadership while LeBron has been with the Lakers.
Well, but here's the other side that I think that should be, let's say, noted with LeBron. LeBron has gone from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, and now to the Lakers. I don't think for his legacy and his longevity that he wants to be, let's say, a franchise hopper. I
think he supersedes that.
Yeah.
Because he might leave. He's probably going to leave once Bryce comes out of the deal to play with him 1 year. I don't think that's the biggest concern. I think his family is situated here in LA. They have a compound out there in Bel Air. His son plays college basketball out here, and you're with the greatest franchise, one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 franchises in the entire world.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would ever make any sense for LeBron, but I think that he would obviously welcome Steph Curry coming in.
The only intrigue for LeBron would be an opportunity to play with Steph. Absolutely. But just as you just articulated, it's kind of like, why at this stage and age in my career, with all of that I have accomplished, do I need to attach myself as LeBron James to another franchise and ingratiate myself to another franchise? Because I'm LeBron James.
Unless it's what I want. If it's something that he wants, then I don't think he has a problem doing it. Because it is a self-centric concept to LeBron.
Yes, I agree with that, and I don't think that there's not a team that would not move heaven and earth to get LeBron, even at this age. I just think that from his perspective, it doesn't make sense, because it's like, I'm willing to, because I've already won championships, multiple. I've won MVPs, multiple. I am literally the most points scored,
Mm-hmm.
and counting,
Mm-hmm.
and with all the other statistical events that I have done. And you know what? Jeannie Buss and the Buss family in general have done a really good job of ingratiating themselves and creating an environment that is very, let's just say, apropos to a superstar. So why do I want to leave that just for a ring
Hey,
that I could
for
get?
shits and giggles, do you believe that the Lakers can get another ring here in LA at
I,
some point in time before LeBron retires?
I do. I actually think that this is their singular mission to get one more ring, because even though
Because he got to get two in the Laker jersey.
I agree, and I think that that anybody that's on the roster today would agree that the thing that they need to be singularly focused on is getting a ring to Los Angeles, because we command it and we are always going to be about that. But yes, it's not like it hasn't spun out in terms of the play on the court, has not spun out to where
Well,
that
we're
they
seeing a little bit different in that. We're going to talk about that in a second.
but yes, I do think that that's the point.
Well, basically, what I'm hearing is that the angle is coming down to this off season and getting that third high level. I think there's enough kind of interest. There's enough good, significant players. Maybe not a LeBron, Steph, that top shelf, but that second shelf player that is out there, that they're from a contractual standpoint are in a position to be able to transition to the Lakers to be that three kind of star. So they have a big three now, and they're going to make another push in 2025,
Yes.
2026, and one of those 2 years, along with some other additions we'll talk about a little bit later. But to sit over here, and that's really going to be the push to get that last one, that year 40, year 41 championship. LeBron playing at a slightly degraded level, averaging 21, 22, 23 points, with AD kind of elevating, and with a third personnel that plays at a high level to get them to a championship. And then you have another one. So you have the four championships, you have the end game to kind of round off his career.
Yes. The interesting thing about this Laker team is I think that in a 7-game series, whether or not they have a home court advantage or not, that they should and do believe that they should be able to beat anyone in the league, Minnesota, Phoenix, everyone but Denver. So the problem is
the team is not built to beat Denver.
They are not built to beat Denver. And that is the issue.
But here's what twist is. Number one is that I agree with you wholeheartedly with that. The problem with, first off, if in any given series they can pull that off, that is correct. The concern is, and the possible overt challenge is that can LeBron do that over the course of 3 series, then going into the championship in a 4th series
at 39,
and winning at 39,
or
40, and winning, being able to win those game 5, game 6, game 7s in those series 4 times. Let's say he has to play at that supreme level 3 games of a 4-game series or a 7-game series, 3 games in that series over the course of 4 series. Now you're looking at 12 games consecutively within a 30-day period that he has to play at that supreme level, and people don't know. I think there's enough motivation for LeBron that doesn't get him to Jordan, but could in this particular year motivate him enough to just grab that next one
Mm-hmm.
So he can sit over here and say, I'm almost within striking distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost within striking distance with the plans that they have for 25 and 26. One. Number two, Bronny coming. And number three, Bryce coming right there at 2027. If he could sit over here and maybe possibly get one, it's hard to say get one this year, but possibly next year. Here's where the twist is, and I do want to quickly transition, and the reason why is because I want to make this point. How we've seen them play now,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about they've gone 6-1. They finally found, after Darvin Ham, which you've killed him and everybody in the media has killed him in, is constantly switching up the starting five.
The switching is not.
Well, at the end of it's kind of like you got to sit over and figure it out. You got to switch and sit over and figure out what the mix is.
Can I just before you, and I want to hear your explanation, but I think the thing is that when you traditionally look at, like, say, Hall of Fame level coaches,
they have some stability.
They have stability, and what Darvin Ham has done is he's switched it up. So then you're doubting what Darvin Ham is seeing in practice, or you're doubting
until we get there, and then it's like, aha! So now we look at 6-1 with the team of what's the point guard? Randall.
Oh, for which team
for the Lakers?
We're talking about? For the Lakers.
We're talking about the Lakers.
Oh, okay. So it's D'Angelo Russell.
Russell
Reeves.
Hold on. Let's go person by person. Russell's been playing absolutely phenomenal.
Finally.
For about 20 games. It's so funny when that fire gets put under his booty. Now he's ready to start playing. So we got Russell playing at the level that
we expected him to.
The expectation was, but that the team needed him to play at to make all of this work.
Yes.
We have at the 2, we got Reeves, who finally Darvin Ham has decided to put him in the starting lineup.
Yes,
it was about him getting tired or getting cooked at the end of the season. Smart move, because at the end of the day, the reality is he's one of their better players. Then we got Rua that, he finally said, okay, we're at the halfway point. I didn't conserve my energy and all that. I'm ready to come play. He just had a 35-point game the other day.
Yes, he did.
So, with him playing, he doesn't have to do 35, obviously, every single game, but with him playing consistently at a higher level, at a high enough level of expectations and what his capabilities. Here's where a twist is. It's about his capabilities. Yeah. We know this man can play when he wants to play. The reality is when is he going to be self-motivated enough to play at that level consistently? And it looks like he's kind of gotten to that point. Maybe LeBron took him out on the yacht and just said, hey, I really like you. I want to take care of you. Who knows what that? But at the end of the day, is he's playing at a different level. And then you add LeBron and AD is playing absolutely phenomenal. He's taking much more of a forward step to that leadership brass and being more vocal and being more present in the moment as a leader. And so when you're looking at this team together and they're playing like that, but the crux is that the PG and Rua have to play at the levels of expectation for this team to do what we think that they can do, what we want them to do.
Yes.
And we saw this last year, that we saw this big turnaround after the trade.
With Vanderbilt in particular.
Vanderbilt will be coming back.
Yeah, and we hope.
No, he will. It's like we still got another almost 40 games. So we can expect within 40 games or another 3.5 months, he's going to be back by then. I don't think he's going to be out for the entire season. So really, I don't want him to come back too soon. I want this to be solidified. And then you have Vanderbilt coming off the bench, which could be, if he played the whole year, could be the sixth man of the year. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So we actually have the ingredients, and really we're at a 6-1. Where can we be at by the midpoint in March? Can we be at can the record look somewhat what the previous Clipper resurgence look like, where they're 23-3? You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm hoping to see. The challenge is the West is so challenging
Yeah, it is
And the
because
team is
there's a
still
lot of
not
good
built
teams.
for the monsters of Minnesota and of Denver to really. If those teams get rolled in there and you throw in a Celtics on the road, you throw in,
Yeah,
Bucks, throw in
you
a
talking about?
Knicks
Yeah,
at home.
yeah.
There's enough great teams in the league that right after the All-Star game that can maybe not make that record as sexy
Mm-hmm.
as we saw the Clippers, but there's a unequivocal sense of ascension.
Yes.
Can we go
The
there?
funny thing about the Lakers, just to sum it up from my perspective, is just winning the game needs to be paramount to them. So the thing that is the cure all,
Mm-hmm.
the proverbial like ointment for everything
Mm-hmm.
is winning the game. So if they go into every single solitary game with the singular focus of I don't care who does what, we just need to win the game. We need to actually win the game. And it's about winning, then that is the Laker way.
I think this lineup is a manifestation of that. Of Darvin Ham saying we got to win because again he didn't want Reeves in there because he didn't want Reeves to get beat
I don't
up.
want to hear no Laker fan wants to hear about all the excuses of well, this guy didn't hit his jumpers or this or that. Nobody cares. It's like win the damn game.
Right, but when you're a head coach, you always have to be looking forward. And I think Ham was doing that. He was trying to be Nostradamus too much in terms of where the team would be at, what their mental and physical state would be at 3/4 of the way. And so maybe this is just his hustle that said, I want to sit over here and preserve some of these individuals. So as we get to this All-Star game, which is used to be in our day and age at the halfway point, but now it's a little bit past that halfway
Right.
point. So then we're literally on the downslope and we can just run.
Yeah.
And it could have been tactical. The thought process, why everybody was sitting there with their hair on fire, saying, "Why isn't Austin Reeves in there? Why isn't Rua sitting over and giving the time?"
Why is Rui? So you know what? I to you brought him up 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Rui, this is the first time that he's looked like the guy that we saw last year. These last let's say 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that we've said, "Oh, there's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's the guy that I remember why we gave you the extra contract, the extra money."
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh, you are here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so thank you." I almost forgot because he had been playing so terrible that it was just like it was disgusting to where you wanted to cast him off and you wanted to trade him and he was not tradable. But here's the deal is I just think that mentally all of the guys are just starting to kind of understand, and Vanderbilt started to do this as well before he got hurt, is that guess what? I need to produce in order for this engine to flow. It's not LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a cloud of dust. Like, no, it's not a cloud of dust. Like, we as an organization, we need all of you guys to produce at a high level. It is required.
I would love to know what the trigger was for that. But I also want to talk to you about this because we have another team in the West that is almost in the same predicament. The difference is their other star player, their second star player, has been in and out of the lineup, and they haven't really been able to find a continuity within the flow for the team. But whenever time that this man interjects into the team, interjects into the starting lineup and playing at the level that he's capable of playing, they surge, and that's Kyrie.
Ooh,
and
Kyrie is dangerous.
and just where the tie is to the Lakers is that could be that missing link next year. You know, they're looking for
Yeah.
that one.
And if I'm
point guard.
D'Angelo Russell, I want to make sure that I put myself in a position to where you don't want that guy.
Well, here's what twist is. He can't do that because you're talking about Kyrie or D'Angelo Russell. I don't care how great.
No. Kyrie's better.
So the thought process is can D'Angelo make himself so attractive to where Dallas is willing to make that swap and think that the dip is not going to be so great that you can also get away from Kyrie and his inactive. Can he raise his value to where there can be a semblance of an equal trade there?
Okay.
Where he's playing, Kyrie's not consistently, but he's playing at a high level that's not quite Kyrie, but it's consistent and high enough to where we can make that trade.
Yes,
that's where, because he's not going to sit over here and play well enough to where we're not going to sit over here and be outside of the D'Angelo Russell trade world.
You know what I love about what D'Angelo is doing right now is D'Angelo has a real opportunity. There, every player who's, let's say, good, because D'Angelo is good. He's made a couple All-Star games, maybe one, maybe two. I don't quote me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't quote me, but he's been a good player through the majority of his career. He's had streaks. He's been up. He's been down. But he has established himself as a professional. The thing that is in front of him is that he has an opportunity to establish himself as a mainstay, like a guy who can be called upon to deliver the best of himself. And it's just kind of like a beautiful observation. Will he do it? Will he be the guy? He should know that he has shrunk against Denver in particular, but just
if he wants to put value on himself, step up against Denver.
They
win the play. You play Denver.
If he does that,
and you average 23
against Murray, and you say, "I'm that dude."
That's how you apply value to yourself. But until then, until he makes himself, because he's an unserious individual. And here's what the reality. Now, he's made waves. He's done things.
He's accomplished.
I'm talking about this year, this run, this 20-game run, to make people say, But here's what the twist is. If you can't do it till the very last game of this season, then your reputation will revert back to what it was before.
Yes. And his reputation is that you're a guy who's going to be what I did say about Anthony Davis. He's been a shrinking violet. So but
that happens when you're young and you're immature, and he has an opportunity to be older, more mature, and understand the stakes. And hopefully, somebody sat down with him and said, This is
the bar you have to raise yourself to.
You have to be at.
It's not about your talent, because you're talented enough to play on this stage, but can you play on this stage
consistently?
Can you?
But really, what I want to talk about is Dallas, because Dallas is sitting over here when you have somebody like Luka.
Okay,
that's special. When you have Kyrie. The challenge is Kyrie has only played not a handful, but he's only played a certain percentage of games. And when they're together, it looks like it's great. It looks like it could be great, but there's just not enough time together. So it might be a felling option upon them. But we can't waste Luka. That talent's too great to waste. You have too much money behind that team to not get it done. Can they sit over and cut bait with Kyrie, which makes an easy trade to the Lakers, to sit over here and go all in, very similar with the Allisons now owning the franchise, and do a very similar trick like how the Clippers have done,
Mhm.
and just bring 2-3 monsters to play along Luka and force their way into the top three in the conference.
Dallas is one of the interesting storylines of this season, and have been in seasons past. But here's the deal. Okay, you bring in Kyrie. This is now year 2 of them playing together. They've had let's say inconvenient injuries that have occurred, whether it's been Luka or Kyrie, to where we haven't had a long stint of seeing those two guys play together. But they are so dynamic, but they are guard heavy like a motherfucker. So when you talk about Hardaway, you talk about, and so everybody else on that roster is kind of like we're fill-ins to basically get rebounds and play defense. And
that's not enough to win a title.
And
you have to get some real people. But I don't think with Kyrie there that can take place. I think you have to construct some trades to make that happen, and free agency and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
but I don't think, especially with the lack of time that Kyrie's playing. But I think that something unique is going to happen, and I think that the league as a whole.
Well, the trade deadline has already passed.
It has already passed, and so nobody is looking at this year in terms of making action.
I mean, go ahead and drink your Chantilly, man.
But I'm having a great conversation because we're talking about some real shit. Luka, at some point in time, it's just like when you have any great individual, you have to build a team around that great individual for the league's sake. Especially when you have white players that can play at the heights that Luka can play at. We've seen the Joker, and they created a team.
He's a special guy.
As a white player to sit over here for the galvanization of the league. It has to happen with Luka.
I always say this in reverence to Larry Bird. Opened the world's eye to these white players. Now, mind you, we've had
it was 20 years between all whites and Larry Bird.
There was Bob Cousy's and all of them.
The Pistol Petes.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's Hall of Famers that are white players, but what I'm saying is in the modern era.
In the modern era. And when you can market them differently. And they want to market Luka differently.
Yeah.
But the team doesn't have the type of success. So when you have owners now, because you got to remember, you had a low-level billionaire on the team before. Now you have a very high-level billionaire owners that own the vast majority of it now. It's a different world. Just like it has been for the Clippers when you had a low-level owner with Sterling, and now you have a high-level owner with Ballmer, where cats can spend the money,
don't care about it. They will.
We'll put it this way: that money is not going to affect their world at all.
Yeah,
the Adelsons, with the wife, have enough money to sit over here and do that and wrap a team around this white player.
Yeah,
and so I think the league and the team overall that's the approach going into 2025. Now, it doesn't mean they win a championship. What that means is that they're not in the 8th or 9th spot on the West. They're in the 3rd or 4th spot. Right. That's what they did with the Clippers.
Right.
They sit over and bought a team to be in that 3rd, 4th, or excuse me, that 3rd, 2nd, or 1st spot. Maybe 4th. All of that is the shit.
Yeah, we still have to play the games. So,
but talent, talent executes
dictates
on those games.
I agree,
and I think this is a team that's setting up when you make that trade and get some compensation, get a couple players that they can sit over and then apply some real cash to sit over and really make that team a monster.
Yes,
next year around a a gifted and talented player like Luka. So I think it's exciting for the league of what's going to take place within the next 2 years following this year.
And you know what? And with everything that you just said, I still will say I don't believe the Dallas Mavericks are going to be relevant at all
this year.
No, this year or next year.
Well, I would be willing to take that bet that next year they're relevant. You can write down and take a picture.
All right.
And next year they might be relevant. They might not be in the play-in, but in 2026 they're going to be vying. They'll be in the conference championship.
Okay.
I'd be willing to bet money on that.
Okay. That particular franchise did it right in terms of bringing or galvanizing a complete team one time, and they won the championship. They immediately dismantled the same team that won the championship.
Because the cost to bear on that one single owner who didn't really have that much money was saying, okay, let me make this money.
Yeah,
he was always trying to cash grab.
He was fixated on
his
that
sale of the majority of his ownership stake was a cash grab because he didn't have really, he wasn't, it's a big difference between $3-4 billion owner and a $30-40 billion owner. It's 10 times different. It's a big, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of billions difference.
Here's the funny thing about Ballmer. Ballmer doesn't care about
He's the
money.
richest owner of any professional sport in the world.
Ballmer could lose. Let's just say that this is going to be a negative revenue entity, but it doesn't matter because that's how much he wants to win.
But negative revenue is he's not going to lose $1 billion. If he loses $200 million, that's like us losing $2,000.
Yeah,
our sky isn't going to fall if we lose $2,000. If he loses $200 million in the year, but still wins,
But you know what? And I got, dare I say, my father. My father is told me, was like, Ballmer wants to win a ring, so Ballmer is going to move heaven and earth to win a ring, especially because he built that Intuit Dome.
But his intelligence, well, the Intuit Dome unequivocally, but the intelligence of not panicking when they were shitting the bed, when they were figuring it out, when they were getting acclimated and figuring out how to win this, and have the wherewithal to not panic on Tyronn Lue.
And Tyronn Lue was probably the smartest hire that they ever did.
Hey, guess what? LeBron told the Lakers to hire this motherfucker, and they were too stupid to do it.
Well, Genie, you messed up.
No, not Genie. It's not Genie. It's Pelinka.
But Genie hired Pelinka.
Genie chose to listen to Pelinka. That's why Magic had to go.
Oh,
Magic was like, "Oh, you want to listen?
Are we getting deep?
No. You want to listen? You want to listen to Magic? You want to listen to Pelinka, not me? Hey, I don't have nothing to do with this." He went downstairs and said, "I ain't got nothing to do with this."
For Genie's sake, because I like her as an owner.
You started a TV show and said she's a sweetie. She's so cute.
No, listen. Aside from her physical aesthetics, because she is cute, but aside from that, hey, she did Playboy. But I digress.
She did Playboy.
Yes, Jeannie did.
And I know you had it too. I know you had it.
I
know you had it. I know you still got it in the cut.
Let me not talk about it too much. But I look, Jeannie is a class act.
Because all class acts do Playboy, huh?
Well, I won't say that, but it just happens to be that it coincides with her.
Jeannie's a jack. I miss her daddy.
No, she ain't a jack. And damn you for saying that. Do I need to challenge you to a duel?
No.
Okay.
Challenge Pelinka with his sorry ass.
Don't be talking about Jeannie now.
Jeannie and Pelinka.
Oh, be careful. Now, the only thing that I will say though is that the Lakers organization, led by Jeannie, has been, I think, if I am a superstar player, I think that they have been the classiest and most like just in terms of the pageantry and the respect. They have.
We haven't
they
seen
have
that since
done
Kobe.
that.
We haven't seen that since Kobe. Let me tell you something.
They have
If
been
it wasn't for clutch,
exemplary.
sport, they would have even had AD. And this is a problem.
No, and Magic Johnson too.
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, that was his daddy. What I'm saying is that this team has not drawn the type of superstars that our father did. This is a fact. Well, you know, his father was still alive with Shaq and all that. He was old. He was on a ventilator and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is that the Laker brand held a lot more esteem pre-Genie than it has done post-Genie. That's why there have been deserts of periods when they've been at the very bottom, and even when they have the perennial superstar of the sport, they're still struggling to get into the playoffs. Is because Genie choosing to be with Pelinka, who most people don't like Pelinka, which makes it difficult for him to get the type of trades that need to get done.
But these are all your assumptions, bro.
Well, my assumptions are built off of the results that we've witnessed.
Okay. I don't disagree that Pelinka's, let's say,
reputation.
His reputation has made it, let's say, more difficult for him to make blockbuster trades. But the thing about it is that it's still that you're dealing with the Lakers. So I think what's been more of a prevailing point other than Pelinka is the fact that nobody wants the Lakers to win, because the Lakers winning is like, it's the same old.
We've been doing that for 40 years. Before we was born, the Lakers have been making blockbuster trades. But since Pelinka's been here, the only blockbuster that's been done have been catalysts of LeBron.
So fine. But the thing that I want to articulate is you have to give Pelinka a little bit of credit, because Pelinka pulled off the $1 million trades of 5 or 6 guys last year.
Who? Those are Mickey Mouse trades? Okay, Church.
When you say Mickey Mouse, they're not Mickey Mouse.
Did we win the deal?
How about this?
Did we win the deal?
But did we get to the Western Conference Finals?
So the Western Conference Finals is now the new barometer in terms of how we gauge the Lakers.
It is not. But what I
Kobe
can say
is flipping in his grave.
No,
you say that tomfoolery.
When I say we, see this is where I always laugh at my own self. I gotta laugh at myself. I gotta say we like I'm a part of the franchise.
I am. I am.
Okay. the Lakers understand that this is championship or bust. It is championship or bust. We don't put up banners other than, dare I say, that they put up the
don't foo it. Hold on, here's what the twist is. This is the problem. Dallas fans, I tried to give y'all some love. It's this Negro right here that does not allow us to talk about the Dallas Mavericks because he has to go to his teams.
My team is the greatest.
So I just want to say I tried to speak on your team, and I've made very fundamental points. But we're going to move on. Because we can't spend the entire show speaking on the Lakers. I tried to transition you to Dallas, and you wouldn't transition.
You know what?
We have to transition to the East now.
This was my happy, joy, and I had a moment where I wanted to go all in on the Lakers.
And I know it just like you want to go all in on the Raiders. We have to move on. We have to move on. We literally have to
because this is an objective show.
We have to move on, but you're not objective. That's why
I have objective tendencies.
The absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion, Cleveland Cavaliers, who are absolutely getting popping. And guess what? As much shit as I talk about certain teams, when they get it cracking, I'm going to be the first person to, on the flip side, give them and heap upon them the praise that they have unequivocally earned and
They
deserve.
absolutely deserve.
And when you talk about Cleveland, when you talk about Donovan Mitchell, who sit over here and thrusted himself, now that Embiid's not there, into the MVP conversation, and he's taken this franchise and said, y'all didn't know that I'm one of the real ones. My name might be basic and Donovan Mitchell. It might not have a Le and a Bron in there. It might not be a unique name, but I'm Donovan Mitchell and I'm here to stay, and I'm sitting over here getting it cracking, and I'm going to sit over here and let individuals know that I'm the real deal. And I think it's not to sit over here and necessarily because he loves this franchise so much. I think it's to sit over and let the league know I'm the one of the realest ever and come get me like they did with Dame and come put me with somebody great. And he wants to be up out of Cleveland. But at the end of the day is finally Cleveland, after a decade of being with LeBron, not being with LeBron, and not really knowing how to construct a phenomenal team around them, what they've done is they found a couple of scouts. They found a few people in the organization that have found a way to make a team without a player like a LeBron, or a Steph, or a Giannis. Without that superstar, they have constructed, and that's what happens when teams are on the downslope, and if they just draft correctly. We got, man.
Look here.
And they got people in the G League.
Now that you have made me shift ranks, Mobley is a real deal.
Mm-hmm. What's the other dude's name?
Their center. They
got a whole bunch of people that nobody out there is going to know really like that. But how they come together, how they play together.
Yes. The only thing that I think that is missing with them is they're gonna. It's like every good team that we've seen in this league. They are gonna have to produce at the level that they do in the regular season. They're gonna have to do that in the playoffs and beat somebody. So here's the deal. The reason why they're number 2 is because Joel Embiid got hurt. The deal is when
the Bucks have went from 2 to 3. Down to 3, but Philly is dropped because Joel Embiid. But that 2 spot they took, and I just got to be real. They took it.
Here's the beautiful thing about it. Celtics, I think that they're going to run the day. They're going to end up being number 1. They're number 1 right now. And if there's anybody that's going to stop them, so then what's going to happen is, will the Cavaliers ascend? Will Cleveland finally ascend to themselves to the 2 spot? And then will they win round 1 and round 2?
If
and
they bring Ibani up
and be in the conference final.
They bring Ibani up, you know who Ibani is?
No, give it to me.
Ibani,
give the public.
Ibani, when he left high school, was the number 2 behind Chet in high school. Came out the same year as Chet. He went to Memphis with Hardaway, got in some trouble. Then had to transfer to Eastern Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Gave out bars. Got drafted.
What is he? So
he's a 6'9" super shooter. 6'10", 6'9", super shooter. Averaging the highest 3-pointer percentage.
So what you're telling me is if he's in their G League right now,
he's just crushing,
crushing,
just absolutely crushing the G League. And so if they bring him up for the playoffs, he got drafted and he got picked in the second round. This was a lottery pick player that because of he's a little rough around the edges, he got in a little bit of trouble in college that he fell to the second round. They picked him up. He plays for their G League and he's absolutely crushing it.
So what you're telling me is that if the team as presently constructed, because they do have a lot of talent on their team, obviously. If they bring him up, do you think that they're going to represent the opposition to the Celtics in the Eastern
what I think
Conference
is they
Finals?
can play. I think they can push
because the
game.
Celtics are going to be there.
Well, I think the Celtics are going to be there right there. I'll take a picture. What I do believe is that you bring Ibani up, they're going to beat the Bucks.
Ooh,
you bring Ibani up.
That's a big deal.
If you bring Ibani up, they're going to push the Celtics to Game 6, Game 7. Right there, I'll take a picture. And could fuck around and beat them.
Well, then we need to be picked up because you just said some things.
And anybody don't know, go on G League's page, go on the Cleveland's G League page and see his highlights. This dude is a monster. I've been following since high school.
And
he's a monster.
And what you're telling me is that you think that is going to supersede what Dame and Giannis and all of the
only because of how Cleveland, because Cleveland again doesn't have any superstars. So if you have 5 B pluses and you add a A minus, you're gonna be better.
Yeah.
And so it's all about if those 5 B pluses play B plus in the playoffs.
Yeah.
While adding this A minus, it's going to average that grade up, and it's going to, and that's what he is. He's an A minus, maybe not for 82. He's not ready for 82 till next year. But let me tell you something. He can go on a 20-game run. Like, you get him in there 15, 20 games before the end of the season, get him acclimated to the NBA. To that deal, let him get hot, and then put him out there in the playoffs.
Yes, because
they run.
Here's the funny thing about all of these players, all of them. How do you play with pressure? How do you play with pressure determines whether
just
or not
don't
you
have any pressure because Cleveland is a team that wasn't expected to be there, so there should be no pressure. Just go play. I don't give a fuck if I win or lose. We're here. And weren't expected to be.
We're here to shock and awe.
No, we're not here to do shit. We're here. We're just playing, having fun. We weren't even supposed to be here, and we've been having fun the whole year, just playing and just winning. So just continue that standpoint. Don't heap the expectations of success onto your shoulders because you didn't get those expectations.
Those burdens are for us,
for other people,
for Philly.
They're for everybody else who's looking at you now and is wow. It's not for you. You didn't get here to get those expectations.
Well,
you had expectations.
Can you Jedi mind trick that into when the playoffs begin?
If they pay me enough. They can pay me as a consultant.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just tell you from a mindset standpoint is you literally just
nobody's expecting you to win.
Just don't give a fuck. We weren't supposed to win, so I don't give a fuck if we win or not. Just play, just have fun, just crush them.
Yeah.
Next year you can worry about those expectations because for damn sure you will have them at the beginning of the season. Yeah. This year you didn't have them, so don't acquire them, don't assume them, don't absorb them. Just go play. I don't give a fuck. I'm just having fun. That's what we've been doing. That's how we got here to number 2. We just been having fun. Just have fun. We got a man that's over here going crazy because he got a point to prove. Keep proving that point, and let's see where the chips fall. And if you do that, the chips might fall in your favor.
That's very true.
Or they don't. And guess what? It's all right. Next year, we popping.
Yeah.
Next year, bring all the expectations. We're ready for it. Yeah. But this year, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Just have that mentality and watch what happens. and watch what happens.
I can't wait for the playoffs. I damn near am like I want to hurry up and get to them because I don't even know.
But here's what's funny: when you talk about those expectations, then we got to talk about the Celtics, who are just, I mean, they appear to be head and shoulders above everybody.
They are
else.
head and shoulders,
and they are. But here's where the twist is: we've seen them fold like cheap ass lawn chairs. We've seen that take place in the playoffs. I'm not sold that this is that team that's going to fold. And here's where the reality is: Porzingis might be the differentiator.
Yes, not might be.
I mean, not in terms of performance, but in terms of them not folding. Like, you know how you can have a chair, and if it's not properly balanced with three legs, you know, a three-legged chair is not going to work. On two legs, it's going to fall over. But you put that third leg there, it's not. And I think that's what Porzingis is.
I agree with you. I think that if you say that this is Tatum, Brown, and him,
if you don't bring him there, if the other two don't understand that he's that third leg.
And how about this? Every other guy that we're not even mentioning is low-key an all-star or has all-star
rock solid
capability.
Mm-hmm.
So
rock solid.
They're rock solid at guard and forward. Just
and I like their coach.
Mile,
and I like their coach. I think their coach is
he's determined. He should be.
He is, but also I think he has a certain calmness. He reminds me of the Miami Heat coach when he was young.
Yeah, Spoelstra.
He reminds me of a young Spoelstra. Just intelligent, cerebral.
You heard me say this with almost like the first or second episode of this season. I said the Celtics are going to be the representation in the finals. I said, book it, book it. So this was, to me, the entire season has been about who is going to represent the West. So Denver is favored, but Denver is not guaranteed because of.
I don't believe Denver's going to get there, and I'm going to take any and all bets. Denver ain't going to get there. Okay. Denver's not going to get to the championship. Write down, take a picture. It's going to be the Celtics,
and that's aggressive too.
It is not going to do it, and it's not that they're boo-boo. It's not that the team. I just think that there's some monsters out there, bud. There's some monsters out there. Write down, take a picture.
In the West. There are some monsters. I agree. Obviously, I want the Lakers, and I'll say it one more time. I want the Lakers to be there, but I think the Lakers.
Please stop talking about it.
The Lakers have a piss poor chance.
Please stop talking about the Lakers because there's too much dominance up top.
Yes,
with the Clippers, with the OKC, with Minnesota and Denver. Just stop talking about the Lakers. The Lakers might sneak into that game, but it's really about those big four. That's all we got to talk about.
You know what? I almost have to be beaten into submission because
and I'm the one to beat you into it. But here's the twist is on the East is the same question is on the East with the Celtics, but it's one team, not four.
Yeah.
But the twist is that the 3 to 4 below them. Yeah. All sexy.
Yeah.
The Knicks are sexy.
The
Pacers are sexy.
Yeah.
The Bucks are sexy.
Yeah.
And Philly with what's it called coming back?
Yeah, with Joel Embiid.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Has to come
so the
back.
Twist is on the West is the top 4 are all the sexy. On the East is you have the Celtics, and the next 4 are the sexy. And so what comes out of each sexy is going to determine, that final. You follow what I'm saying?
And you know what? This is the playoffs or a battle of wills, because when I have to beat somebody 4 times, that just means I've seen your playbook, I have seen your tendencies, I've seen everything
But
that it is.
talent is the great
Yeah,
disparaging differentiator.
Yes.
So that's why I'm bucketing them and like that. So the big fours is all about where the talent's going to be.
Yeah. And because right now it kind of looks like, oh, well, maybe this or maybe that. But when the rubber meets the road,
When the rubber meets the road, where are the Celtics? Can they win in this pressure cooker of whoever comes out of that lower level big four?
mm-hmm.
Does that team put enough heat on them to make them fold like we've seen them fold?
I don't believe in anybody's
the
beating
funk
themselves.
lawn chairs, old school lawn chairs.
Yeah.
Do they fold, or is this the year because of the addition of Porzingis and that they're so put together well that they sit over here and win? That's the big question.
Yes, and you know what? To me, on the East, I don't think there is a big question. I don't think in a 4-game series that anyone is going to beat the Celtics.
So you're assuming they're not going to fold.
I don't think that there is. If I were a team in the East, regardless of all the things that we've said, I don't think that there is a team in the East that will be able to beat the Celtics.
And see, I don't think that. I think what New York has done with that coach, I don't think who Indiana is with adding
4 games.
4 games. I don't think.
Okay.
Oh, put it this way. I'm not saying I don't. I know. I'm just saying I don't think that it's quite as easy.
Okay.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that East, whoever comes out of that big four below the Celtics is going to be grizzled, is going to be a little bit rough around the edges, where I believe the Celtics' road to the conference championship is going to be a lot lighter. And I believe that they are susceptible to getting gangstered in the championship, like they always have been. And that's where the dichotomy lies. That's where the rubber meets the road. Are they gangster enough to get there? And so I look forward to seeing what will happen there. But there is, in my opinion, no foregone conclusion that that's where they're at. So, I'm excited to see what transpires, what takes place, but we are going to have an opportunity to see.
Yeah, I love it. Ooh, wee. I can't wait.
As we sit over here and wind this bad boy down, 2 more lighthearted, less cerebral conversations, but are far more fun. And, again, when we get to this time in the All-Star game, the All-Star game is something special to me because I happen to live in Las Vegas when the All-Star game came to Las Vegas for that first time, and I was able to live it in 4D and really know the tomfoolery and the type of
because All-Star definitely has a gravitas to it. It just does.
But it's funny, they've been having it in places that are not known or not traditional for that uber Hollywood, like eccentric type deal. We've been having it in Utah, and now we're having it in Minneapolis. So, outside of, in terms of that aspect of the parting, just what are your thoughts on the All-Star
game itself?
Because when we came up, All-Star game meant something for players.
Yeah, it did.
And they played hard and they went hard. The reality is that's not the world we live in now.
Here's the thing that I think that the NBA is missing of why it was good. So in years past, when it was Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and so on and so on and so on, that this became almost like an arrogant display of all of my skill sets.
Beautiful, yeah.
And
Description of what it was.
Yeah,
yes.
it was let me show you guys
on the world stage
on the
against
world
the best of the best
that I'm the best of the best.
It has to be indicative of these more recent generations on why the iteration of the game has changed, because it's not just changed in basketball, it's changed in football in terms of the Pro Bowl, in terms of nobody wants to get hurt.
It's not
We're not going to take
watchable.
it seriously. Yes. And so you mentioned something earlier where you're excited about it going back to East and West.
I am.
There's a true delineation of a difference between what we fight against already to get to the championship.
Yes. The thing that I think that the NBA and other leagues have missed the mark on is competition means something. So to athletes, there has to be a little bit of vitriol. There has to be a little bit of who's better, you versus me. It can't be this kumbaya love fest of we're all hugging each other. It's like, no, that's not competition at its core. It's not. So you need to establish competition in order to like prove a point, because you need to allow athletes to feel as though that they're trying to prove a point. The number one thing that the league should do is the NBA is that they should say that you need to say to the league that home court advantage in the finals is predicated on who wins East versus West.
That's aggressive.
No, it is absolutely critical, because if you have me playing for something,
that's. I mean, I'm not hating. Say that's super strong. That's like I don't even know.
Baseball does.
I don't even know how to describe. That's super strong.
Baseball does it.
I do absolutely. I never even thought about that. We will need to revisit that next week after the All-Star.
Okay.
Just to give me an opportunity. But
so you can absorb it.
Super strong. Like,
yes.
Strong is.
Think about it that way. Because I would say this. If you separate East versus West, and then you just separate the All-Stars, East versus West, and then you say, we're playing for something. This is exactly what they did with the play-in tournament. So it's the same concept.
Church on the move. I never thought about that.
If you say that the All-Star game is playing for something, to where the winner is the one who has home court advantage.
I love that thought process. I will tell you this. This is my challenge. This is my personal issue with it. Is why do we have to put stipulations on people competing? And that's my problem with this generation of player across all sport lines is it's all right to compete aggressively and hard with our counterparts, and maybe even throw some blows, maybe even a little fisticuffs. But we understand once the whistle blows and the game is done, the horn is blown, that we know it wasn't personal. I didn't hate you. I just wanted to win more than you. Like, why isn't the win more important? Whether the teams are mixed, or whether they're divided versus east versus west. Why is it a win? Why doesn't this generation have the mindset of simply, I'm going to win it, simply to say, I'm better,
Okay.
I won, I get it?
The simple answer to your question is this. I think that people, for all of the variety of personalities, because the greats, they're self-motivated. They want to win all the time. It doesn't matter if we're playing Parcheesi.
Right.
They want to win all the time.
That's the Michael Jordans, the Kobe's, the LeBrons.
However, the all-stars that are coming in, not everybody has that same level, right? So the only thing that you can do as an organization is just say, I have to put a carrot out here. I have to put a reason why you need to care.
Or I don't sit over here and put a person in my organization that doesn't have the dog. And this is when we come around to, and I hate to even go here, it's a Draymond. Give me 9 Draymonds on my team.
Yeah, I listen.
People with that type of dog. Give me Isaiah, who just got arrested for a team fight because they love to criminalize us, and he was arrested. You know, my man from the Pistons who boob out the Phoenix. Give me 9 of them who just want to win because I want to win.
But you know what makes Draymond,
and I don't care if it's for a Twinkie.
You know what makes Draymond unique on his team is because he cares about winning at a level that maybe others don't. I think the only other people on the Golden State Warriors that care about it to the same level are Steph and Clay. The thing
Clay can't move no more.
And
Clay
can't
looked
move
decrepit.
no
Clay
more.
needs to retire.
But it doesn't mean that he doesn't care about it to that level.
Yeah,
the thing that we're saying is in an all-star environment. So all-star is, I am giving you pageantry. I am giving you acknowledgement of all of your greatness. And then we're gonna hug and kumbaya and exchange T-shirts and all that.
And the exchanging of the jerseys and all that.
So what makes me as an individual?
No, the point that you made is phenomenal.
Yeah, what makes me as an individual is to get into the very core of the reason why I'm an all-star. It would be that there has to be something on the line.
The problem is that if for a team that's not going to get there, the bottom 5, but they're in that mix, and that happens a lot because they get the top level picks from the previous year that they don't have the same gumption. But yeah, we got to keep it moving, and I can't wait till next week to have a more in-depth conversation.
We'll see
on the deal. When we talk about the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. We rehashed the game.
Yeah, dunk contest is trash.
Well, let's see, because when Zach LaVine won, I thought it was trash until Zach LaVine stood over here and showed me light-skinned cats and stood over here to pop it.
But you and I both know that the thing that has taken over is the 3-point contest because it's a battle of will and skill. It's a battle of will and skill.
I don't know if you ever took that many shots like that.
Listen,
it's a monster.
You and I both have hit 3-pointers, but can I hit 10 in a row?
No.
Okay,
I can tell you no. I don't even have to hesitate. No.
Yeah. Or can I hit 10 in this market and then 10 over here? It's like you love that. And you know what? The league is not really equally prepared to handle.
Well, let me tell you somebody who might be able to, at some point in time in their career, hit 10 in a row.
Okay.
In a 3-point contest, in which I can guarantee you this individual, and I'm not saying in our lifetime, sometime soon, is going to be in that same contest, and we're going to be looking like proud grandpas talking about that. And that's when young Bronny comes to the league playing with his daddy.
With all of his 5.3.
Everybody forget that Bronny 6 months ago was sitting over here on the court.
No, I don't
sat over here and got revived. We didn't even think that he'd be able to play now. And then everybody want to talk shit about his 5 points when he plays on a boo-boo team. And that's why LeBron says, let me save you from this bullshit and let me get you to this league. I'm so excited and fired up that the word has come out that the Lakers are willing to sit over here and trade to ensure that they get Bronny to play with the Lakers.
It's an interesting take.
Mm-hmm. So it's coming. I just want to quickly hear about your take. I think this is important because he is a future star that we're going to be talking about years from now on this same podcast.
I think Bronny has a perfect opportunity. I think that if I were him, I would not be in love with the fact that I'm going to be drafted, dare I say, by the Los Angeles Lakers because of my father. But here's the flip side of that. Bronny, if he has the cauldron and the fire within him, he could say, you guys just fucked around and got a gem because I'm going to be the next
I think we do because we've seen Bronny was boo-boo 4 years ago.
Well, he
was boo-boo.
I've seen him in high school.
I've seen a maturation.
Yes, and here's the deal: he's not an aggressive offensive player,
just like his daddy.
But he's a solid offensive player.
And you don't need to be at 6'3".
Yeah,
he ain't 6'9" like his daddy.
No,
he's 6'3". So if he can get to 6'4" and play that role, he's not going to be his daddy.
But if he doesn't,
he can be a rock solid NBA player. Yes. Right now, take a picture.
And if he doesn't grow 1 other centimeter, the only other thing that he needs to be caring about is, I am going to show the world, shock and awe, that I am that motherfucker who can shoot that rock. And if he does that, and he decides to have the attitude of that,
and I think that's realistic. It's just 1,000 shots a day.
Yeah,
that ain't hard to get to.
Yeah, if he has the attitude of that,
because he's gotten there. His shot was
he'll be a motherfucker.
Oh, and I think we have that. So for all the people that are hating, yeah, LeBron has told us for 5 years prior he was going to play with his son. And then his wife came out and said, you ain't going to just play with Bronny, you're going to play with Bryce too. So from my perspective is we got another 4 years of Bron. Him going into 43.
But honestly, I would be shocked, not super shocked.
He's going to play
but I'll be shocked if he play with
Bryce.
Both of them.
You can write down, take a picture, you play Bryce. No, hold on. At 44, 42, 43, 44, LeBron's going to only average 14, 15 points. But that's all right. It's 43, 44, and there's not a motherfucker that's ever played that is at 43, 44, 45 is going to be averaging 14, 15 points a game. So it's all right. LeBron's going to be averaging 1-3 a game. He's going to be averaging 4 free throws. So now we're looking at 7, and he's going to hit 3 to 4 shots a game. 1 every quarter? You're going to tell me LeBron at 40-something can't sit over here and get a pull-up at the elbow every quarter? 1 shot?
I would never say that because, here's the funny thing. LeBron, presently.
$2 million you spent on that body. Yeah, he can do it.
Presently, I would expect him to be over the hill right now.
I knew that wasn't going to happen no matter what.
And
I told you that.
LeBron looks better than 60, 70% of the league.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Right now.
Take a picture. Write down, take a picture. Write down, take a picture. While you babysitting, write down.
No, I'm not babysitting.
You are babysitting. It's
no,
right.
no, I've been drinking.
Hey, no. What are you talking about? Hey,
just because you tried to decide to pour your chalice right now.
He's been drinking. Hey,
you realize that you poured your chalice.
No. It's all right. Yeah, you couldn't pour your chalice into there. It's all right. We're gonna put it down and go and sip your shit.
Yeah,
hey, ladies and gentlemen,
I gotta go home.
Hey, I drink this shit. He gotta go home because
now see. Now I'm gonna have to.
I had to get it fired up. I had to find a way to get it fired up.
I'm gonna have to go to the juke joint. Where's my?
Ladies and gentlemen, he talking about pistols and shit. We're about to go to the All-Star Weekend. Y'all enjoy this All-Star Weekend coming up. It's absolutely phenomenal. Have some fun with it. But guess what? Yeah. You're going to have an opportunity to see our upcoming stars, our Ant-Mans, our Wembies, all of our great stars coming up. And it's going to be something phenomenal. We'll see you next week. We'll have a full recap of the All-Star game because I'm going to make this man sit over here and watch it. We're going to have a full synopsis of what to expect in the upcoming season as we go into the playoffs with about roughly 30 plus, just over 30 games left in the season, and it's time to get it cracking. This is when the time you get excited. This is the build up to the playoffs.
This is the moment.
Yeah, this is the moment. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next week. It's gonna come faster than you thought. We'll see you on Tuesday or on Wednesday.
Church
on the move. Oh, you want to drink? Church.
Oh, look at there.
Bye. Appreciate it.